Hi, viewers of the tube. This is Neil Walters with neilsvideos.com. And in this video, I'm going to make another very introductory beginner level video on how to make butter. Okay. And this is a town that has no NFTs in it. So this will be just exactly what you're doing. In the prior video, I showed you how to basically get your industrial complex, your gasoline built down here. And now we're going to start making butter. So I actually did two things before the video, and then I thought I might as well just video this for you guys, right? So I added salt fields down here. Okay, you go to the farm, and actually again, you click this button. You go up here to the farm tab, and you look for the salt fields, which are kind of white, right there, salt field, and I added a couple of those. Now, you're going to have to add those by the ocean. And remember I talked about in the other video that there's different borders to your town. Like this is a mountain border over here, which you use that when you need to do a mine to build like iron or chromium or I forget what the other one is right now. But anyway, you put mines by the mountain. Salt needs to be by the ocean, basically. Okay, now there's an NFT that will give you saltiness, but that's again a little more complicated. And you see right there, that one just like they turned into those little hexagons. That means it's done. So see, it says ready, where this one is almost done. Now, if I put my salt field over here, for example, it's not going to get the saltiness, and it would take like 3 or 4 times longer to build, and it would have what's called a red timer. Let me just illustrate the red timer again. Again, this is a beginner video. So let's say I put it right here by the water, for example. Now let's check one thing more down here. Yeah, see, it's not asking for water. So it is green, and it's going to take about 3 minutes to build 1 unit of what's called brine, actually. It's kind of funny. They call it a salt field, but it makes brine. And then you have to actually churn the brine in your windmills to make salt. Okay. Now, I built a silo right here. You know, when you start the game, there's a silo right here. But the reason I built this silo is because you don't want these little see, watch this farmer right here. See, he's coming over here and he's going to get on the road probably, and he's going to go to the nearest silo. You notice how much faster he walked while he was on the road, right? So I didn't have my microphone in the right place. That might be a little better now. So he dropped it in the silo. So we click the silo. We see we have one brine in it. So now I'm ready to start making salt. So earlier I was making sugar. No, I already have it turned on. So anyway, I came here and I did this. I stopped making sugar. So I hit stop on craft sugar, and then I hit start or make on this salt tab here. And it's going to take 4 brine and 2 lumber. I didn't remember that it took more lumber than the others. I forgot about that, or that's something new. So anyway, you got to make sure you're going to have some, not wood. I'm sorry, I said lumber, but I meant wood. Wood and lumber is two different things. So by the way, my lumber mill down here is making some lumber right now. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to start paving more of my roads. Earlier, I had shown you that to build your industrial complex over here, that I had to pave 2 roads, and those are the roads that go by the power plants. So that was the, very, very beginner level. Now we're moving up slightly further in the game. So you want to have more paved roads. So what I usually try to do is find like where the most travel is. Like if you just kind of look at all these guys walking, where did they go the most often? And generally it's going to be near your silos and or your wood sheds. Okay, so see down here, these guys are carrying wood, that guy's carrying a battery to the warehouse, and you learn where these things go, right? So I'm going to put a upgrade here. So you click upgrade, make sure you have at least not just 29,000, but again, make sure you have a little extra money before you upgrade something, because that's pretty expensive. And if you're just starting out and you only have, say, $50,000 up here in your city cash, you probably don't want to upgrade your roads yet. So, for example, what you might do is start making butter, sell a few butters, and then you'll have we'll have to look up the price on what butter sells for. But if you sell a few of those, you make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 city cash, and then you can start paving your roads. In this sample game right now, they give us $10 million of cash to start with. I don't know how long they're going to be continuing to do that. So I'm going to upgrade this road right here. Now, if you only have one lumber yard, you wouldn't want to just immediately do that because you're going to be blocking off. It's going to need lumber, which comes from the lumber yard. Okay, let me say that again. it takes lumber to build the road. And if your only storage is this lumber yard, then where's it going to get the lumber from? So, yeah, see, like right now, I don't have any lumber in this lumber yard. So we're going to have to wait. Hopefully, in a few minutes, this guy will make another lumber and he'll put it in here. And we got to make sure it doesn't fill up. Like it might fill up right now. Okay, I think, no. Oh, yeah, that's actually, I think that's an error. Okay, so normally in the game, this might still have bugs in. Yeah, I think they got a bug. Normally, when you start paving a road, at least used to, it would turn this building red. So I need to actually ask them if that's a new feature. They made it easier for us or not, because used to your building would stop working and then he would have to go somewhere else to get his lumber. Now you see it turn from like that peach color to gray or dirt color to gray. Now we'll do that one. Meanwhile, let's check our silo over here. We still have one brine because this guy is eating up 4 brine every time he makes salt. So let's go ahead and add another salt field down here. Let's see if we can add it 2 away. Right here, I just want to see if there's any difference. It's been a while since I've done salt. If you have the money, you can remove these trees. If you don't have the money, again, don't do it. That's one thing about being in the forest. It takes you kind of a while and a lot of money just to get rid of these stupid trees. So I call them the tree stubs. They're still growing. They're growing as trees, but see, it's going to take 9 minutes before that's a tree anyway. So let's get rid of that. And let's see, he's got a green timer too, which is good. We talked about how you want your windmills to have green timers in the last video. And the point is you want to have at least 3 spaces between them because of the shade issues or the blocking of the wind. No, sorry, it's not shade. It's just the blocking of the wind issue. I forget what they call that. So now we're going to need some cows before we make butter. Okay, so, oh, I was going to show you how this is red. No, it's not red. What? Okay, that might be a bug too. So in general, you don't get your salt fields fast unless you're right by the ocean. So that could be a bug. I'm going to build one like way over here just to test it again. Let's put one right there. What did I just do? There it is. Is that the salt field? I don't think I got the salt field. I think I clicked something else. I want to hit cancel. Well, there's the quick buy. Okay, I don't even have to go over here. When you have that thing here, you just click quick buy, and then you can come up here and put it there. How long does it take to build? Probably just. Oh, see, now it needs water. So that's the other point. So, yeah, there's things that seem to be changing or buggy. Like, I'm surprised they didn't have to put a pond down here because I didn't think the ocean supplied maybe the fresh water needed for salt, but maybe it does. But up here, you see you need water. So we're going to wait till, see, here the farmers come. See, those little farmers are carrying little buckets of water. So it's the farmers that attend to your salt. I'm trying to click somewhere else so you can see the farmers. So 2 of them have dropped buckets of water there. And so now you can see if we click on that, we need 1 more water left before it starts trying to make brine. And that tree is red. Okay, so once you start cutting down all these trees, remember that you're going to have to build tree farms because you're still going to need wood to make lumber and to build other buildings and such. So the more of these tree stumps you remove, the more tree farms you want to add. Now this tree here is in kind of the yellow state. It's not green, it's not red because it's getting blockage from this windmill. The windmill is like shading it or whatever, so it's not growing as fast as it could. And then this one, well, we can't see that one. So let's try maybe putting another tree farm right here. Go to the farm. We're gonna look for tree farm. 500 bucks, pretty cheap. Ooh, that's not nice. Ugh, that's a pain. I'm gonna have to hit cancel because my city got kind of off center here. Now I got to do that again. Click here, tree. This windmill is going to cause shade as well. So the problem is we have two tall buildings right where we're trying to grow crops. Now, see, the problem with that one is he's only getting 3 out of 5 water. So we talked about water in the last video, but this is what we call the proximity effects again. So this pond is giving him 2 waters, and this pond here is giving him 1 water. And we showed you how you can open the TownStar Play Guide that I'll put the link again below the video, and you can see how that works. But this guy's also, oh, and he's also getting, no, he's getting 1 water from there. Oh, no, that's it. I think he's getting 1 from here, 1 from here, and 1 from here. So he only has 3 water and he needs 5. So I'm just going to go ahead and show you that we could build another pond here, okay? Let's hit build, go to the terrain tab. Again, sometimes I'm doing things I wouldn't probably really do in the real game. I actually own some water towers, which are NFTs, which are special paid for items that I can put in the game that will give me water. But I'm trying not to use those because this is a beginner video, right? Okay, so we're going to check that. Now, we're going to check the timer up here. Yeah, that's green. I don't think that should be green, so I'm going to delete it or remove it. But in theory, you're going to have your salt fields next to the ocean, unless they change that. Okay, so now what? Oh, yeah, we were going to build a milk barn. So right here is probably a good place. So I'm going to go here. We're going to go to the farm ranch screen. I'm sorry, the ranch. This is the farm screen. This is the ranch screen. So anything having to do with animals that aren't the sea animals will go here. So there's a milk barn. It's 30,000, so it's not super cheap. It takes 10 wood, so it will take a, oops. Ah! Cancel. How do I cancel? I got it misaligned. The old game, you couldn't misalign things. This game, they let you actually put things not on even spots. So far, I'm going to try to even things up. Like there, it might be nice if we could stack our feed mills closer together since they're small items, but I don't know if it'll let us do that or not. Okay, so there's my first milk barn. The reason I put him here is he's going to need, I think, I'm trying to remember, 3 or 5 water. So he's going to get at least 4 water from being next to these 2 ponds. Meanwhile, what's happening to this pond here? It's got 3 water, and it's going to take 10 to basically get started. So somebody on the board is going to have to carry water to there. And I think that's going to be your constructor workers. Constructor workers are these guys in the constructor houses here. And there's one. He just dropped a water on there. And that comes from these little guys here called water wells. So, and that water well is actually yellow because it's probably too close to the crude oil, so that we're getting pollution from them. So let's build another, let's see, let's try to put one right here. The water wells should not be affected by shade, but they are affected by pollution. Sometimes it's just logic. You can use logic in your mind to figure it out, but other times you need to check the charts in the TownStar playbook or play guide. I'm going to put a water well right here. And remember, these do not give passive water. They give buckets of water, basically. And we can put one here. And sometimes you just build these temporarily and then you get rid of them later. It depends how patient you are. If you're willing to wait like 30 minutes for this thing to get 10 water from this little well down here, then fine. But if you want to speed it up, you're going to have to build a couple more water wells, and then it may build it in 3 to 5 minutes instead of 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Normally, we don't keep the marshes too long. We either get rid of those or we replace them with ponds. Okay, so how's my barn doing here? This is called a milk barn on the cows. It's 3 more seconds. It'll be built. There we go. So the cows are coming out and they eat like the sheep do. Let's check the statistics here inside of it. So you need 8 feed, 3 water, and 1 wood. So the wood was just delivered by the lumberjack. And now you need, oh, we had 3 water passive because we get 2 because we're touching 2 lakes. So each pond or lake basically provides 2 water as long as it's within 1 space and even diagonal, that counts. So we're getting 4 waters really from these, but we only need 3. So we got all the water we need passively. Now the food is just going to have to be carried in, and we make food by, let's review that. The rancher guys in the blue house, the house with the blue roof, they will come down here and put wheat or flour, yeah, wheat that you're growing over here. The wheat goes into the feed mills, and then the feed mills grind the wheat and make food or feed. The feed goes in the food trowel here, and then the animals eat from the trowel. You can also have meadows, and so meadows are another way to feed the animals. And so if you have empty spots on your board, I would encourage you to add some more meadows. So for example, here and here, it's so backwards to the way I'm used to playing because they changed things. So first of all, you click down there and you're going to go to the screen, which is, they used to call it the terrain. And you're going to click meadow. And I'm going to add a meadow here. It's $500. I'm going to add one here. It is affected by shade, it looks like. So let's see if that one turns red. Oh, it's green. And if you have the money, I would delete this tree. If you don't have the money, you won't be able to delete it right now. You'll have to wait and delete it later. So I'm kind of a balance here between my 2 feed mills and however many meadows I have. So again, I could probably build another meadow like right here. I would just try to put almost as many meadows as you can. I mean, within reason. Because what we'll probably do next is add a second milk barn, right? So you're gonna be watching your money up here, how much wood you have. You're gonna be balancing all these things in your mind. And so, yeah, let's go ahead and build another milk barn now. So we're gonna go there. We're gonna go to the animal screen here, the ranch screen, and we're gonna get another milk barn. And we're gonna put it right there. And that one, I'm trying to think. It's gonna get, it should get, I may only get 2 water. We'll look at that in a second. Actually, if that one only gets 2 water, which I think it is, we may have to move our food trough up here somewhere else because the food trough doesn't need to be next to the water. That was probably a bad decision on my part. Of course, we can always build more ponds too. This pond got built, you can see. So now the trees over here get watered passively from the pond, and they don't have to wait on the buckets of water to arrive from the wells. However, that one is still in a yellow speed timer, which you can't see when it says ready, but when it's creating the trees, you can see it was yellow. And that's because we're getting shade from this windmill mainly, and then 1, 2, 3. Now, I think we're okay from this windmill here. Let's check our batteries over here. So right now, I don't think I have much that needs the energy or the batteries. So I'm going to delete this windmill, wind turbine, excuse me, turbine. Let's check now. It's still yellow, but we can probably put another tree now here. I'm kind of used to playing where I could try to get a river on the left side, and then that helps your trees to grow faster. Yeah, the trees. So I'm going to go back to here, look for another tree. The game is always, like I said, I think it's a game of compromises and constraints because you can't have everything. Like if you move this windmill over one here, then that windmill will go red. You move it over here, it's going to affect, the house might affect it or something else. And that was a bad decision. Again, I'm kind of making bad decisions on purpose, but I'm also used to playing with some NFTs that would give me water that I don't have here. So I'm actually like having to go back and think how to play like a beginner. So that guy is only getting 3 water. So let's do the count. He's getting 2 from here. No, 1. He's getting, that's 2 away. You only get one water from a pond when you're 2 away. He's getting one from this pond, and then I think he's getting one from this pond. This one's 3 away, so he's not getting any from that. He's not getting any from this. So I'm going to build yet another pond right there. Go back over here to terrain and pond. I know this video was supposed to be about butter, but we're spending a lot of time on trees for some reason. Okay. Now remember our storehouse over here. I'm going to spin my city around so you can see it better. It's kind of hiding behind that lumberjack house. It's a little red building. It'll hold 20 items. And we've already got almost 20 items in it, which is not a good thing. So we have flour, sugar, and wool. And I think I was selling, no, what am I doing with flour? I was just selling flour to get the game started. Right now, we'll need flour when we start making dough, though, which should probably be in a separate video. So I'm going to need more of that. So I'm going to build another storehouse right here because here's the deal. Let's go back. So if it's full of 20 items like it is right now, where's it going to put the salt that it's making, right? So this guy's going to make salt. And if there's no room to put it here, he's going to throw it on the ground and we're not going to have any salt, which right now we don't have any salt, right? And the milk will go in there too. So everything you're making ends up going, not everything, a lot of the things you make will go into a storehouse. Some things go into a warehouse like water drums and energy. So that's one of the things you got to learn, and it just takes time and experience, is what goes where. If you get into what they call the seafood games, you have to have a seafood warehouse, and that's got special cooling or whatever to keep the seafood from going rotten, right? So maybe it has to be cooled more than a normal storehouse. I don't know why they have a separate guy for that, but that's the way they designed it. So I'm going to build another warehouse. And if I put it here, I think that's going to be good. I just want to make sure it doesn't cause shade on this guy, but I don't think it will. So right now there's a pasture or a meadow there, but that's okay. I'm going to just overlay on top of it. So we're going to go to, for some reason, the storehouse is here on the farm screen, and the warehouse is over on the industrial screen. I don't know why they separate these always like they do. Boom. So you can build on top of the meadow, I think. No, you can't. I think in the old version you could. So I have to hit here cancel, and I'm going to have to remove the meadow. I get $125 back. Now the quick buy didn't get saved because I didn't actually build that building, so I have to go pick the storehouse again. And remember, don't overspend your money. If you don't have 15,000 or plus your buffer down here, don't build that yet. Okay. So sometimes what you do is like you get your rush going, you get your sheep pens going, and you just go away for an hour and come back, and then usually you'll have a lot of money to spend. So at first, it's a game where you don't always have to be sitting there watching it. So some people might do this while they work, or some people might do it while they watch TV or something else, or while you're watching YouTube. Now that guy is going to take 5 wood, so we're just waiting on that to get done. Now to actually make the butter, you need a building called a bakery. A bakery is more of a higher tier product. It's because it's going to make like what I would call a level 2 or a tier 2 product. So you go up here and you're going to look for bakery. So here you'll see a cakery and a bakery. It's a little confusing at first. Cakeries make cakes and bakeries make, I think, dough, baguettes, and butter. Which if you click the I button here, there you go. You see what it is, right? In the bakery, what does it make? Batter, cakes, and pumpkins. So I know that a cake requires batter. A batter requires butter. I think the baguettes require dough, and I know the pizza is going to require dough. Okay. Cakes do not require dough. Pumpkin pies, I don't remember. I haven't made those. I don't know if I ever made pumpkin pies. Yeah, I have. I forgot. Okay, so I'm going to build the bakery. 400,000. Check your money again. If you don't have 400,000, you're going to have to wait. And it's going to take 10 lumber, 10 wood and 10 energy, which that's a lot of resources if you're a beginner, right? So where are we going to put it? I built this road here and that to make things easy to get to. So I'm going to stick it right about there. The reason I have it there is it will get the, well, I hope the, no, the, oh, no, 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 no. Well, no, I'm going to, oh, that one's almost done. I probably should put the warehouse. I'm going to cancel that. See if I still get my money back. Oh, well, I didn't probably do it fast enough. I'm going to put my warehouse down here, and I'm going to get rid of this guy too. I'm going to slow him down anyway if we start building things around him. This is where I want to put my storehouse. I want to eliminate the time that my workers have to move around the screen. Now, let me explain something else. When you have two warehouses, like one here and one here, you're not guaranteed that the brine or the salt, sorry, is going to get delivered to this one versus that one. You can't program it or tell it which ones to do. However, if this one's full, which it is right now, well then of course it would go to the other one, the one that's not full. So right now we're good. The other way to encourage it, let us say, to come down here would maybe to build a road here so that when the brine comes out of the salt, comes out of that windmill, it's going to probably try to find the closest storehouse based on squares and whether those squares or tiles have roads or not, right? So you have to think like, what is the computer or the players doing? So potentially we might need a road here, but we'll see. So we see the little constructor workers, they're carrying their 10 items, 10 wood, 10 lumber over here. Oh, we got our 10 lumber already. That's good. So I didn't actually check. So over here, you see I have still 12 lumber. Here I have 6. That's probably actually too much. So let's temporarily stop crafting lumber. That's my lumber mill. The other thing I might want to do is come up here and go to, click on the gear. We're going to go to auto sell. And I might have to start selling wood because what you got to do is balance. Click that. Okay, I have 2 lumber yards and they'll hold 20 each, so that's 40 wood items. So let's say if I get over 20 wood, I want to sell them because I want to keep room in one of the lumber yards for lumber, right? So if they all fill up with wood, that would not be a good thing. Likewise, if they all fill up with lumber, that would not be a good thing. So we can do the same thing on lumber. But when you start programming like these, it's sort of like programming. You're telling the system what to do, right? If I put these in here, there's a chance now we're going to use up more gasoline. So you're going to have to keep an eye on what you're selling and make sure you have enough gas. So right now I have 11 gas there, and I still have my original gas from the beginning of the game. Let's see. I got 23 gas up there, so I think we're okay for now. Since the last game, I was actually building a few more crude pumps here. Again, I'm used to playing with an NFT that gives me passive crude oil. So I haven't played with crude oil pumps in a long time. So the question is, how many of those do you need to keep your gas going? So I'm going to add another one right there. And I'm just going to pause the video now for a bit and let these buildings get built. Oh, well, I just barely missed it. The little worker there carried his first salt into my warehouse already. So you see we are storing the salt now. And it is a chance that we're going to get some flour, sugar, or wool stored in here as well. But let it be if it does. So there might be some point you might need a third warehouse, a storehouse. We got both our milk cows going now. I don't know. I don't see any milk in here yet. So where's the milk been going? I bet we've been throwing the milk away. Milk will sell for I think 40,000. Oh, here's the milk. So we can. The truck comes back. We can click it and we can double check the sales price of milk. It's pretty good. I like to call it a cash cow. No pun intended. If you click sell here, come down and click on that product. says I don't have, you have to have 10 to sell it. But anyway, it's telling you that if you did sell it, 10 of them, you'd be making $40,000, which is actually a little bit more than the wool. The wool takes less, I think, food, and they're cheaper to build to begin with. So you could actually build probably milk barns instead of wool if you want to from the beginning. Like if you know you're going to be using butter in the game and you're not going to be using wool, then I would probably do my rush with the milk barns instead of the sheep pens. Okay, down here, my bakery has all the supplies it needs to build it, and it looks like it's probably going to take 2 minutes to build, out of which we still have 57 seconds remaining. I'll pause. Okay, that little bakery is now done. So let's click on craft. Now you can see what we need to make butter. We need 2 milk, 2 salt, and 1 sugar. So let me explain something now. At one point, you were selling the milk and you were making $40,000 for every time you sold 10 of them. And likewise, you could be selling salt and making a little bit of money, and we were selling sugar and making money. But now this is going to slow down how much money you were making on those products, but now you're going to be making butter instead, and then you can sell that for a lot more, actually. So let's do make on that. And see, there's a little tiny lady that comes out. She just went over there to the warehouse, storehouse, got to use the right word, and see how fast she's actually moving, really fast. Little lady, isn't she? I don't remember moving that fast before. So you can see I have milk and wool here, but that's why I wanted it so close by so that she could go get it. Now, see, she's waiting on a salt and she's waiting on a sugar. Well, she's not waiting. There she goes. She had to go to this warehouse all the way across town now. She found the salt there. So, see, now she's kind of waddling her way back down the roads. That's why it'd be nice if the storehouses were down here, right? Now, we could delete this storehouse, but we would lose all the items we have in it. So we shouldn't probably do that. Um, we have to think. That's where you have to make your decisions as to what your strategy is going to be, right? So now she's got to walk all the way over there to get sugar. So at least we've speeded her up on a couple of things by having this here. Let's see. Where's the salt? We don't have any more salt right now. So we're waiting on the salt. So I think what we're going to have is another windmill making salt. Okay. And what are our other windmills doing? So right now, we're not using flour for anything. So I'm going to stop making flour here. I have to click the windmill, click craft, and then click stop. We were using it to make money, but now we're going to make salt there too. So that means when he delivers salt, he's probably going to deliver it to this warehouse because this one's too far away. So the little granny baker there, she's going to have to walk over here to get some of her salt. I think the milk will come down here because the barns are closer here, obviously, right? Is there any milk in this one yet? No. And at some point, I'm tempted to get rid of the sheep pens and just either make them all milk, because then that's one less thing you have to have in your inventory. Like, why should I waste my inventory here having wool when I could be doing milk, which is something I need to make butter, right? Okay, so now she's getting her other item there. Did she already make a butter? I think she did. Yeah, I wasn't even looking. Yeah, she already made a butter. That was pretty fast. So just to see how much butter sells for, we'll go up here, click the truck, click sell. We can't sell yet because we don't have 10, but we can see what the price is. And the price is $200,000. So you're going to have to think, that's probably better than selling salt and sugar and milk separately. The milk was 40,000, salt was probably, I forget, 20, 30,000. Motorcycle outside making noise. Anyway, you're probably going to make more selling butter than you are those other things because this is a higher tier product. So we're on our way to making butter now. Now I think we're just in wait mode. Let's check our inventories here. Let's see how our wood's doing. We have 2 wood, 4 oak, 12 lumber there. Plus, okay, remember, if I don't want to add these two numbers together, I can come over here and look on the left side. And scroll down. So I have 17 wood and 18 lumber, and that's pretty balanced, right? Because remember, I put the auto sell when I get 20 of either one. Remember, I still have a wood shed up here too. So my total for all my woods combined, wood, lumber, and oak, is 50. 50 is my inventory. All right. So now what else can I check? What are we making here? We're making sugar. We're making sugar here and here. No, we're making sugar in just one windmill. So let's check the ingredients here. That's probably good because you need twice as much salt as sugar, right? So the ratio in theory is you would need twice as many windmills making salt as you have windmills making sugar. So that's good. And we need 2 milk, and we have 2 milk barns. So I think everything's more or less balanced right now. Here you see a wool carrying down here. And why don't I see it? That seems weird. I just saw them put a wool in there, but yet the count's not showing it. I think we're going to find little bugs because Godot is brand new. They've been working on it for probably a year. That's kind of disturbing, actually, that my wool's not there. But there's a wool going in that one, and a salt. And it's not showing the wool there either. So what would you do if you... Oh, there it is. There's a wool. Maybe it's just delayed. Let's check this one now. That one doesn't show up yet. Strange. We have one butter. This guy is waiting on salt. Everything he needs, but he needs, sorry, doesn't have everything he needs. He has other stuff, he just doesn't have salt. Here comes one of the salts. So now what you got to figure out is are you making salt fast enough? You may not have a choice at this early stage of the game, but at some point you have to decide, do I want to spend the time and effort to build a 4th windmill to make more salt? And if so, where in the world are you going to put it? Because again, you want the green timers when you're this early in the game. As the game moves on, you're going to have to just say, okay, I'm going to have to put all my windmills side by side, and they're just going to all have to be red timers. What happened to that road? Yeah, I didn't know you could rotate a road. Used to, you couldn't rotate a road. I'm going to pause again. Let us check the silos. So here, I have 20 wheat in that silo, and I noticed they just put 1 wheat down here. We have 1 sugar cane. Now, where are we growing sugar? Ah, over here. That's a tree. When the sugar's not fully grown, it's hard to tell what the symbol looks like. So right here, I have 2 sugars. And notice they're both red. And I think when I built those there, I was just, again, just showing the difference between wheat and sugar. And so now I need to make sure the sugars are actually going to be a little faster than that because otherwise we may not have sugar to be able to make our butter fast enough. So where could I now add another sugar that's going to be fast enough? This is my general crop area, and looks like I could add one right here. I'm gonna have to just get rid of that meadow. I'd rather have the sugar than the meadow right now. So delete that, and we'll add a sugar over here. So we're gonna go to the farm screen, down to sugar cane, actually right here, sugar cane field. Stick it right here. Should grow. I mean, it's built pretty fast, doesn't need any wood. Oh, that's a yellow timer as well, probably because of this windmill. Ugh. I put one here. It might be getting pollution from the truck and or the storage tank. This might be an okay place, but then it's probably not going to have enough water. So you see, you always have to make these compromising decisions. Um, right here, maybe I don't need, well, that would be red too. Why is that red? Oh, the mountains. We didn't talk about mountains yet. Yeah, it's never really good to have your crops near a mountain because the mountain causes 5 shade. So the ocean will give you saltiness. The river, if you have one over here, would give you water, and the mountain gives you shade. So yeah, actually, it's a good thing I didn't put my windmills over here too, because then they would be shaded. They would be red. So you want to count 5 spaces. Five, four, let's do it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You don't want to build really any crops or any windmills next to that mountain, 5 squares. I kind of forgot the mountain was there because in the past, the way the game used to work, you could kind of pick where your town was located, and I would pick a town that didn't have a mountain. I kind of just forgot that the mountain was there, and I was just oblivious to it. So it's a good thing we have our industrial complex is a good thing to put by the mountain, actually. So we're good with that. We need to find more crops here. So let's start deleting this. And I'm going to try to put it here. I need to put the sugar again. And I'm probably going to have to build another pond. But let's get the sugar started. Need to do the count here. Okay, we go. I think it's 3. I wish we could click on everything. So that would be like 3, 2, 1. I think it's a 3, 2, 1, 1. Let's go back and look at the diagram again. So this is Dubstep Rod's Townstar Playbook. We referred to it in the prior video. And what we're looking for is the windmills, which would be on the Objects tab at the bottom, Object Sheet. Windmills would be right down here in the W's. Up here it says reload to get the latest version because that means Dubstep Rod has updated it. He tries to keep it very up to date. And like this week, they're adding pizza, for example, shrimp pizza. So I'm sure he's starting to add all those things. So here's the windmill. We click on that. And remember, we're going to go to the object page. Oh, there, we're doing the reload. Sorry, I said I was going to do, but it takes a few seconds. Okay, offline, it took me a few minutes to get that thing reloaded. So it's windmill, wind space mill. I think I was looking for windmill, one word, when I tried to do the find. So sometimes it's better just to type find wind, for example. Now when you click that, let me show you one more thing. I think you just changed this too. So see here from columns K through 8L, these are the standard prices and rules. Over here is the live meta. And what that means is when they have a contest, for example, they may tweak the standard rules a little or the standard parameters. And so during the contest, you want to use whatever's in this column, not what's in these columns. So we're going to click the object card because I know that's where the little picture is that I'm looking for. Okay, so here we are. See the windmill. Obviously, well, not obviously. I think I've showed you before, and I have it memorized that it gives you 3 shade if you go in a straight line. So there's 3, 2, 1. The problem I always get confused about is what happens when you turn the corner. So you can think of it as 3, 2, 1, 1, or 3, 2, 2, 1. So you kind of have to memorize that turning the corners like that. So 3, 2, 1, 1. Now we're going to go back to my game and we're going to test and see if this sugar would be good here. So see where I put that sugar there. I can't tell if it's green until it starts growing again, but we can count like this. 3, 2, 1, 1. That means that wheat is impacted by this windmill, but that means this sugar is not. So that is a good place for the sugar. What about this one? 3, 2, 1, 1. So that sugar is impacted by that windmill. What if I build the sugar here? Then it might be hitting this windmill, right? So we go 3, 2, 1, 1, and then that would be a 0. So that would actually be a good place for a sugar, except there's no water there. So again, you have to pick the worser of two evils, lesser of two evils. I know there's no such word as worser. I'd be a little funny there. Maybe. Why isn't it going? Oh, meadow. Sorry, I got to delete the meadow. And I don't think I had to do that before. Click buy. Pop it there. Meanwhile, let's check our inventory down here. We have, gosh, we just have 2 butter. I was hoping after, maybe we sold some butter already. Well, one thing I've asked him as a feature in the future would be like here, I'd like to see a history of my last 10 or 20 items that I sold in the truck. Because maybe I sold 10 butter already while I was over there waiting on the spreadsheet, refreshing it and stuff, because I was gone a while. We have 12 sugar, which is actually, that means we have more than enough sugar. So maybe I was over worried about these things. Actually, now that I've got my sugar over here, I'm going to get rid of these um, slower sugars over here, sugar canes. And then you have to think about, do I need more farmers? So I only have 1 farmer. Wow. So this whole game, actually, I've only had 1 farmer. No, there's one. I see that. There's 2 farmers. So where's my other farmhouse? Where are you? Oh, right here. So there's a farmhouse way over here. So we have 2 farmers. I think it's really probably time to add a 3rd farmer now. So I need to add a farmhouse somewhere. It's not going to shade anybody. So let's get rid of that tree if you have the $20,000 to do so. And let's stick a farmhouse there. That takes 1 wood, I believe. So take just a second to find the wood and get it there. You see the smoke coming out right now? That means the bakery is making its butter. Churning butter, as it says. And we have 10 milk. That's really good. Sugar. We have 12 sugars. So I think we're doing good. Salt. What about salt? Ooh, see, we're short of salt. I wish we could get there are people in the past that made scripts that would like show things better than like the way they show things. But like over here, it'd be nice if I could just show the products that I need to make butter. But I know it's sugar, salt, and I know I just can't say it. Sugar, salt, and milk. So we have 8 milk, we have plenty of sugar, but see, we're short of salt. So that either means we had a shortage of farmers grabbing the salt. So see right here, there's 3 salt fields ready to go, and no farmers weren't coming very fast to pick them up. So now I have another farmer that might help a little. He's putting the brine in here. The brine still needs to be ground over here in the windmill. So this guy is waiting on 4 brine before he starts doing that. So maybe we need a farmer house right here too. I think that farmer house won't hurt anybody there. And that way he's physically closer to the crops that we want to get fixed or speeded up a little. So by putting him there, I'm hoping that will speed up my harvesting of this brine. And I can add more brine fields here too, obviously, if I need to. But that's the fun of the game. How many brine fields do I need? Not necessarily the fun or the challenge of the game is balancing. How many farmers do I need? How many sugars do I need? How many wheats do I need? Blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on and on, right? And at some point, you can build another bakery too, right? So once we got this bakery cooking fast, we can think about adding another bakery. Because right now, I know I have enough milk and I have enough sugar to support a second bakery. But right now, I don't even have enough salt to support 1 bakery. So there really is no point in building a second bakery until I get this one optimized. So I'm going to be working on optimizing salt for the next few minutes. Now that windmill is churning. I'm going to go ahead and add, for now, sometimes you overdo it. I'm going to add 1 or 2 more salt fields down here. So sometimes it's better to build slow, like don't just put 3 or 5 or 10 of them down, maybe just 1 or 2 and see what happens, because sometimes you turn the pendulum the other way too fast and then you have so much salt that they're not picking up the sugar or the wheat or something like that. And I'll build 1 there too. Middle of the road. Why isn't my quick buy button down here? Strange. 'Cause, 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 'cause If the game ever looks buggy, you can always just refresh the browser. That's sometimes what you have to do to get it rolling again. Okay, so we have 5 of those now. And since it needs, we have 2 windmills going for salt. This one is making, no, that's making sugar. This one I think is making salt. Yeah. Which means we might have some salt here. No, we still don't have salt there. So I think our brine was our shortage. And or farmers were a shortage. I'm going to add one more farmer here. And then I'll probably pause the game for 10 or 15 minutes and come back and tell you what happened. So I'm looking for the farmer. Oh, it did that to me before too. I don't know what's causing that. The whole city slid over to the left for some reason. I have to check if salt is affected by shade because I know a farmer house will cast, I think, 1 shade. And you got to remember then if salt is affected by shade or not. So we'd go back to the spreadsheet and we would look that up. When you look at your inventory here, if you don't have any brine, well, there was 1, you just put a brine in there. If you have like an inventory of 0, that means that that product is moving out of the silo faster than it's going in, which means you're usually short on that product. But like right now, see that brine is already headed out. It's headed to one of the windmills. This windmill needs 3 brine, and this one needs 2 brine. So I think I still need more farmers and or more salt fields. So let's add another one here. I'm curious if this will do shade, so I'm going to add a salt field diagonally next to the farmer house. I'll do a quick buy, and I'll add one here as well. Pause a minute. Okay, actually, let's check this. Yeah, so we seem to be getting green timers on the brine. Remember, even when I put it on the other side of the screen, that might be a bug. See my silo, still, we just got 1 brine in it just now. The other thing I could see might help my town is that this guy over here, when he wants a brine, he may have to walk all the way down this road, which is a long road. So maybe if we had another little road right here, we could speed him up a little bit, but to do that, it's going to mess up my ponds. Sometimes I just basically extend this road all the way down. But right now I didn't plan ahead, right? So we can talk about planning ahead in the future, but right now it would be kind of tricky to get a road to go through here without destroying a lot of stuff that's needed. I'm going to go for yet another farmer. Just notice this windmill here is not green, it's yellow. That slows down my salt a little bit. It's probably the rancher house here. So let's get rid of that rancher and watch, we can probably see that windmill going green. It not only went green, it just finished like boom, instantaneously. So now I'll put the rancher down here. I probably need another rancher by now too, because when I started, I only had 2 sheep pens. Now I've got 2 sheep pens and 2 milk barns. So actually, let's move on up a little bit. Assuming you have the money, we're going to go to an ATV vehicle now. So it takes 5 lumber, 5 logs, and 5 batteries or energies, and they will charge you more money per minute. but we're getting where we're going to have the butter selling shortly, so I think we'll be able to afford that. And so instead of building a rancher house, which you can see down here is the normal house, is only $1,250, but it only takes one wood, and it's only $10 a minute. But once you get to the middle and the kind of the middle part of the game, you start thinking about, well, can I afford ATVs? So let's say I'm going to put an ATV here. So I'm going to put it right here, and then you're hoping it doesn't slow down your salt fields. And again, you can check the playbook if you want to. And now you got to make sure we have lumber and all that over here. Ooh. I have 6 wood. Oh, there it is. There's 12 lumber. Yeah, so over here we can see as well. There's 18 lumber. These messages just pop up sometimes to tell you basics of the game. See all those little worker houses, the worker men, workers, construction workers, I'm sorry, are all carrying wood to this guy. And once we get that one working or built, I'll build probably another one right beside him. I think it's safer to build one at a time. That way you get one of them finished before you begin the second one. If you build 2 or 3 at a time, the workers might decide to spread the load evenly rather than do first in, first out. I'm not sure which way they always decide to do it. So at some point in the game, you end up, I call them sort of quadrants. Like this is my industrial quadrant. This is my salt fields, not even a quadrant, a little sixth of the screen. This is kind of my forest and animal quadrant. This is my crop quadrant. And then it's undetermined yet what this is going to be. This will probably be my housing area over here. So not all the houses will fit down here. So this may be just a row of different worker houses. Then up here, I'm not sure what that's going to be yet. So again, you can plan your game out more ahead of time, but I'm kind of just winging this as I go because I didn't know I was going to do butter until today when they announced that the next thing that we really need to build is shrimp pizza, and I believe butter is one of the ingredients for that. Okay, so a few minutes have gone by, and now you see, well, I still only have one brine here, but it seems to be like, for a while I had 2. So I think I'm getting close to enough brine now. You don't need 5 or 10, but if there's always a 1 in there, that means that you're probably supplying your windmills fast enough, unless the workers are just taking a while. So see, that has 3 out of 4. This one has 2 out of 4. Now we have no brine. Oh, we have a brine again. See, another one went in. So I'd rather see 2 or 3 in there to be safe. So I would build another salt field down here. I could wait till the ATV's done, but I'm not going to. I don't think the salt requires lumber or anything. I seem to remember in the past that I only needed 3 or 4 salt fields. I don't remember having 5 or 6. When I have an ocean, I thought they were faster than this. I thought they finished in like 30 seconds or a minute, but I don't recall. Again, we could go look it up in the playbook. So there's our first ATV. So watch what's coming out of there. See, there's our little vehicle. And that's our rancher lady, but she's now riding a ATV, all-terrain vehicle, so she moves a heck of a lot faster than the other version. And so you see how fast she's moving, and so now we're going to do the same thing with the second one. We'll go back to the rancher screen. We'll add a second ATV. And I don't think we've talked about the performance monitor yet, have we? Not, at least not in this video. So if you click, let's see, move things around a little. It used to be you click right here. There it is. Ah, there's a little arrow, triangle there. Okay. Used to you click higher up here. Oh, this is something called gems they're talking about doing. And this was the town coin. We don't have town coin anymore, so I'm not sure why that's. Maybe that's going to be Gala coin. Gems are a concept that's coming in the future where you'll be able to spend money and add gems to the game and speed it up. I hope that doesn't mess up the game or make it too expensive to play and compete, though. So when you click this little thing here, the production monitor opens and closes. So we can come down here to butter, for example. We know it's yellow. Just find the icon for it. They're not really in any order that I know of. So there this says we're making 7.8 per hour. So that means, oh my gosh, that means it takes us more than an hour to make 10 butter. That's not very fast. So you can see I've been trying to improve it. But the other thing is this is an average over the last hour. So what I can do, or ever since I've started today, so I'm going to hit reset here. And now the computations will be from this point forward. So, on a piece of paper, you could write down, like right now, it's 2:54 p.m. And these numbers sometimes will be a little out of whack at first until you get an average. Like we know we're getting more than 0 per hour, right? But the next time the butter is made, it might show that we're getting 20 per hour because boom, there's a chance that a butter could have been just made the minute I did the reset. So we need to wait about, say, 10 or 15 minutes and let these stats sort of settle in, and then we'll know more accurately how much butter we're creating. But we definitely need more than one sale per hour, I believe. I'm going to pause again. And I'd still like to see more brine in here. Like I think right now I'm seeing the second one coming. Oh, he threw it on the road. Oh, looky there. I got 20 out of 20. That's always a problem. And guess what? 20 out of 20 up here. So this is back to my theory of constraints, right? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, wow. There's what happened. We just sold. See, right now, the 10 sugar canes just went through the truck. Now my silo has room for 10 more things. But notice there's 9 wheat here and there's 20 wheat here. So I think we have too much wheat. So we're either growing too much wheat here or we need to turn on auto sell for wheat or both, right? So we don't want 20 wheat. And actually, right now I could just do a flush on this. And actually, I'll flush this one. It's all 20 wheat. So if I say flush, say yes, I'm sure I know what I'm doing. See, all that wheat just went away. I didn't have to sell it because you may not have enough gas to sell it. Now, if you sold it, you'd make $3,000, but that's not, we want to make 30,000, not 3,000, right? Let's check our gas. Ooh, our gas is not good down here either. We have 3 gas there, and we have 0 there. So actually, I'm overselling things based on how much gas I'm making. So I think I'm going to need some more crude oil pumps. Like I said, I'm used to playing with an NFT that gives me a whole bunch of crude oil, and I don't have that this game. I don't need two. Oh, I have 4 worker houses. That was because they were gathering the electricity or the energy from the wind turbines. But guess what? We don't have wind turbines now. So let's remove a couple of those. There's some more spots we can put crude oil pumps right there. Industry tab, oil pumps, wood. Here, click buy, and stick them there. I'll pause again. Okay, and we may have another inventory problem. Look here, this storehouse has 20 in it. This storehouse has 20 in it. So what does that tell you? I need another storehouse. Can't have everything, or we need to increase the auto sell. So this game is just like beats you down sometimes, right? You've got to stay on top of everything. It's basically you're an operations manager. I don't know if you've heard that term, but like in the businesses I've worked for, they're in charge of running like the operations of a plant. And that's more or less what you're doing. You're running a farm, ranch, and an industrial plant, and you're the manager of it all. You got to make sure everything is perfectly balanced. So I'm going to put this guy. It's possible that I could have made a butter and it just threw it away. So if you look at the performance monitor, it'll actually tell you that. Come down here. That's surprising. We have, I know it just went from 4 butter to 5 butter. So see, to me, this number here should have recomputed since I did the reset. But there are none lost. So what lost means is that the workers threw it on the road. Like here, he threw away 2 milk because there wasn't room for it in the storehouse. He threw away 1 brine because there wasn't room for it in the silo, and that would be since your last reset. So, ooh, here, see 5 lumber. That's okay. I can throw away lumber because it's kind of a pretty cheap. I mean, sorry, wood. I can throw away some wood, no big deal. I don't want to throw away wool even. I don't want to throw away sugar. So I definitely needed that other storehouse. I will pause again. Okay, let's check another thing over here. I could be wasting crude oil as well. Here I have 14 energies in my warehouse, but the only time I'm needing energy right now is when I build a building. It needs like 5 energies. So what I'm doing here is I'm constantly kind of spending crude oil to make energy and actually both of my power plants. So I'm going to turn off one of the power plants. I'm going to do craft stop. And then that way, that crude oil that's going to make batteries can instead flow into the refineries because I really have pretty major gasoline shortage right now. See there, I'm actually selling batteries. I just sold 10 of them. I'm not sure totally why I'm selling them. I could actually turn that off because right now you only need to sell them when you're balancing things like the water drums and the batteries. And right now I'm not using water drums for anything. They both go in the same warehouse. So I can turn off the auto sell for batteries and no use wasting gas. So right here I can just click remove. So it's possible then in the future this will just fill up with 20 and stop, but I'm okay with that. Pause the video again. And I'm back. And I want to ask the question, what can I be building while I'm waiting on my butter? So the butter is churning. We're filling that storehouse up a little bit already. And I can start building my first tractor as well if I have money up here. So always check your money. I'm going to delete a farmhouse. There's no upgrade button. I think it'd be good in the future if you could upgrade and actually have 2 or 3 levels of farmers, but right now it's one or the other. You either have the slow farmer or the tractor farmer. Here's the farm tractor, 75 grand. Again, needs 5 of these 3 things. And he's going to charge you a lot more cash per minute. I'm going to stick him right here. And I'll go ahead and offline while I pause the video. I'll build probably one more oil pump here. And I think it's also time to start paving some roads. So you saw I paved these 2 a while ago. I haven't paved any since then. So I'm going to spend a little bit more of my time starting to pave roads now, assuming I have city cash to do it. Let me show you one trick. I mentioned before that like it didn't turn this lumberjack off. Let's see what happens here. I don't want to lose any butter that's in progress, but what if I try to upgrade this road? Yeah, maybe that's a new feature. Used to, your building would stop when you did that. So what I used to do is I'd sometimes build a dirt road like on the side here, so that this bakery wouldn't stop and or lose what was in it while I'm building the paved road. But it looks like I can actually build the paved road and it doesn't affect the building right now. That might have been something they eased up to make it life easier for us. So I know we have a lot of traffic to these 3 buildings here, so that's a perfect place to build 3 roads, paved roads. Okay, finally, I've got 4 brine in here, so it looks like I'm getting enough brine coming in now. What's happening with this silo here? It's got 4 wheat, 1 sugar cane. It's not really good for sugar cane. Let's go over here and check our performance monitor. I would say that this is not computing the butter per hour at all. Maybe they have to wait. Maybe they added some logic. They don't compute it until they've made at least three or something. But I remember we had three butter when we started, so it built no, we had four, I think. It built number five and number six. Why hasn't this per hour updated? I could reset again, but I'm kind of afraid to right now. You can see I'm building paved roads right up here by this silo and that storehouse. And at least I was trying to. So look over here, I ran out of lumber. Okay, so remember a while back I turned off my lumber yard here, lumber mill. So now I need to crank him back on. I need to say craft lumber, because otherwise I have these five guys here are never going to get any lumber. So I need to leave that on for a little while now. Notice over here my farm tractor's done. So see, when you click that building, oops, see how it puts that red marker on the tractor? So now you got that little tractor running around doing its thing. And should be clearly faster than the guys walking. So see right there, he just passed the farmer who was walking, left him behind in the dust. So here's this guy coming down here, and that was the farmer he passed. Okay, I'm still having a salt shortage. You can see the bakery right now is totally waiting on 2 salt. And if I look at all my storehouses, there's no salt there, there's no salt here, and there's no salt here. So what that tells me is I'm going to need probably another windmill, and maybe I need more salt fields too. I don't remember it being that. I don't remember ever needing, well, I won't say ever, but I don't remember, yeah, for a long time needing more than 3 or 4 salt fields. So I'm going to think about, okay, I added some salt fields here, and you can see that uh, some of them are waiting on water. And you see the farmers are delivering water to them. That means it would still be better to have at least one more pond here so that they don't have to waste their time doing that. So I'm going to build another pond. And then as soon as these roads get built, I'll probably build another farm tractor as well. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to swap out my sheep for cows, because right now there's really no need to have wool. The idea originally was it was a wool rush, but now I would rather have milk than I don't need wool for anything other than maybe just quick cash, but I could sell the milk for cash too if I have extra milk. So I'd rather have milk. Okay, so I got some things underway. I'm building another farm tractor here. I'm going to rearrange this part of my screen. The water facility here was just for demo. I'm going to remove that. And the trees here, remember I told you about they're getting shade from the mountain, so that was a stupid place to put trees. So let's remove those. And if I'm going to build more trees, I'm going to build them somewhere over here, but I'm running out of room there too. The windmills will make the trees not so fast, but right now it's the only place I have for the windmills. At some point, like I said, I may just have to build on my windmills side by side. That's usually what I have to do later in the game. So right here, I'm not planning on growing anything, so I'm just going to get rid of this pond, and I can probably stick another windmill in here and start making more salt once I clear out all these things. Now, okay, I was thinking about putting a windmill here, but again, I forgot about the stupid mountain. The mountain causes shade on the windmills too, or not shade, but slows the wind down, just like it hurts the crops. So again, I don't want to put a windmill 5 tiles, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 from here. So that means to get another windmill in here and try to keep it on a green timer is going to be very difficult. Let's see. I may have to delete and move some of these buildings. You can't really move a building. Like if I delete the storehouse, nothing in it. No, that's storehouse. I'll lose everything in it if I decide to delete it and put it over here. There is no move command. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Like I could have, looks like right here I could have a windmill. road there and build a windmill. And I'll have to move the houses out of the way, or I just let the windmill be red. That's a possibility too. Like I said, I know that eventually some of the windmills will be red. That water, that tree there. Find the windmill on page. Lumberjack house. I'm definitely going to get rid of him because of the shade. Build him. Houses would be a perfect thing to build by the mountain over here, right? They're not going to be affected by the mountain at all. Road there, and then a lumberjack house. Oops, I got that misaligned. Cancel. Where's the cancel? Cancel. Ah, too late. Messed up. It's just slightly off track there. In the old version of the game, everything lined up perfectly and snapped right where it needs to go. This one, a little more picky. What I'm doing is I can have 4 houses here eventually. I'm just getting the road ready for them. I'll put a lumberjack house on one of those. And actually, we talked about having like the farmers and the ranchers have faster buildings. Well, the lumberjack has a faster building too. That's called the logger house. So let's build a logger house over here. We have the money since we're using our 10 million they gave us. Right there's our first logger house. And that will use 5 logs, 5 woods, 5 lumber, 5 energy. Let's check our lumber supply down here. It's still a little low. It's probably because I just built all these roads. I think that. Oh, and we're also there's a farm tractor building being built. So really, I should kind of wait till he's done, but he's almost done anyway. So he needs one more lumber, and that's why I have very little wood and very little lumber right now because it all went to helping build him and these paved roads. I will pause again. Okay, didn't pause long. Now, finally, we got some stats over here. Now it says we're building 8.5 butter per hour. We're still trying to improve that by adding this new windmill, which I haven't turned on yet. And, we want to get that up where we build 10 or 20 butter per hour, not 8 per hour. But remember, we're also going to have to build other things in the future here. So we can't spend all our time on butter either. So you got to, again, think what you're going to do next. But this video is strictly about building butter. So that's all I'm focusing on right now. Let's turn this windmill on. Start making salt there. Let's see how many brine we have down here. Oh, we have 14 brine. So wow, we finally got our brine piled up. And that means we are ready for another windmill to start grinding it. And that windmill is probably going to be yellow, maybe red. We'll see in a minute. I don't think I've ever set up auto sell on my milk. So now I have more than enough milk, even though I was going to replace maybe the sheep pens with milk, but I already have more than enough milk. I need to start auto selling that. So we're going to go here to auto sell, customize, and check here on the right side, and we don't see milk there. So I have to go to the left side. That tells me I got 20 brine now. So now I'm getting more than enough brine. Like I said, I might have overbuilt. I have 10 butter, so we need to turn auto sell on for that too. So let's do that right now. Sell 10 butter. That'll free up space in my storage. And down here, where's the milk? There's the milk. I have 17 milk, so if I sell 10 of those. Actually, I like before, it would tell you how many you want to keep. So I guess if you want to keep 3 or 4, you'd say sell at 14, and then it would sell 10. It used to, you would say keep 4. So remember, you can only sell batches of 10. So I want to keep some milk around for my butter. Now I can make a little bit of money selling the extra milk. And now if I have money, I can build another milk barn as well, and that would be a little more cash coming in. Over here, I paved this road while I was paused. I'm still waiting on Mr. Lumber, Lumber Logger House here, Logger House. He still needs lumber. And that was my shortage right now. I didn't have any wood or lumber down here other than the oak wood. So I'm still waiting on the wood to be carried to him. I thought about maybe building another temporary lumberjack house here, but then you got to look at how many trees are ready and waiting. So see, here comes a tree cutter, a lumberjack now. But I think we could use one more lumberjack. That's okay. They're cheap compared to the loggers. And eventually, we'll try to replace all the lumberjacks with the logger houses. Well, there's a logger house there. I don't remember when I built that. Maybe that was actually in the prior video. So here I'm building my second logger house, actually. And if I wanted to build one more windmill, I probably could in here. If we count like we did before, 3, 2, I wish I could highlight these squares. 3, 2, 1, 1. I could try to put one there. And then I might have to move or get rid of this construct. I don't know. Constructor houses, I don't think cause issues. This rancher house might. What if I go this way? 3, 2, 1. Yeah, probably right in the middle here. And then I can move this guy's house, get rid of him. He was the original farmer house at the beginning of the game. Like I could stick him way down here, away from the windmills. Now we're going to need a road for that windmill. So say 3, 2, 1, 1 here. About right there. So I need one more little dirt road so that we can reach that windmill. Roads are over here on that tab. There's the road. Now that count looks wrong. Oh, now I can see the grid. It's more obvious. 3, 2, 1. I don't need a road there. Cancel. I've got this road. I just have to make sure that windmill is not too close to anybody else. Maybe one of these two squares. There's your 3, 2, 1, 1. That's going to be okay. This farmhouse, I think, only casts one unit of shade, or not shade, wind block, so I think we're good for there. Next time we see this windmill spin, we should double check what speed it is. And we want to come down here and let's check if we have any salt still. We have a lot of brine now. We just don't have, do we have any salt? I think the salt icon looks like little salt shakers. We don't have any yet. So every time we make the salt, it's immediately getting sucked up by the bakery here. See, right now we're still waiting on one salt before we can make more butter. Let's check our statistics performance again. See, now we're up to 9 butter per hour. We're getting there. So we want that to, 10, 12, 15 per hour if we can. That's my current goal. Okay, I just discovered that I have I think 16 sugars in my warehouse. I don't have auto sell on for sugar, which means I'm wasting inventory space there. So you got to manage your inventory. Oh, I have 20 sugars. That's way too many. So I want to keep about 4 or 5. So I want to sell anytime there's 15. That's my gas. My gas is a lot better now. Remember, I was down to like 0 gas for a while. Now I have 6, and I think this one has none. So I think I want to get rid of this tank up here since it's empty now. That'll be another place we can build a house in the future or soon. Okay. Oh, that windmill is red. All that planning I did was too hasty, I guess. Oh, it's the mountain. Oh, God, that mountain. You know, I said before, sorry, it makes me mad. I would never put a mountain there. I would never get a city with a mountain. Oh, that's the kind of stupid mistakes any of us can make, right? I did a video a while back, the top 10 reasons you're not in the top 200 or something like that of Downstar. And one of them was because you make stupid mistakes. And what I just did there was a stupid mistake. But like I said before, at some point, you're going to have red windmills anyway. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to go ahead and go for it. I'm going to build 2 or 3 red windmills over here. Because since they're going to be red in the mountain anyway, let's go for it. So I'm going to build like maybe 3 or 4 windmills right there. And when life gives you lemonade, or no, when life gives you lemon, make lemonade. Something like that. So I'll do that offline. I'll put, I don't know, maybe 4 windmills here. One guy said that something like 1 green one is equal to something like 5, 6, maybe red ones. So that's the sad thing about it is there's a big difference between green and red, huge difference. Since right now I'm not using anything that needs lumber, I'm going to turn off my lumber mill again, because right now I have 6 lumber here. Right now I need wood to build the windmills, so I'd rather have wood than lumber. So I'm going to stop that momentarily, or at least, I mean, for say 10, 15 minutes maybe. I'm looking over here at the production monitor. I know that's wrong. I'm not getting 94 salt per hour. That's ridiculous. So I don't know why that number's so big. Butter, now it shows I'm getting almost 20 butter per hour. That might be accurate. I know I'm not getting 95 salt. So let's do a reset again on that. You can see here I'm building, I think, 3 windmills. I'll start with 3, see if that's enough. As soon as they're done, I will turn on craft salt for them. I want to make sure they don't get within 3 or 4 of this one because I don't want him to go red yet. Okay, so we had 20, now we have like 17 brine in this silo. And so now as I crank up all these windmills over here, we should slowly see that number come down to maybe 12, 10 or 12, because these silos will, I mean, these windmills will each have about 4 brine in them while they're running. So you see that's the red one. They're all going to be red now. At least I have multiple red ones all running at the same time. So keep an eye on your lumber and your wood down here, because remember, every windmill takes 1 or 2 wood. I think salt takes 2 wood, right? No, yeah, salt takes 2 wood to make a windmill takes 2 wood to make a salt. So now that you can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, 5 or 6 or 7 windmills, all taking 2 wood each, that means you're going to need 14 wood about every 3 to 5 minutes for each windmill, right? So again, 6 times, say 6 times 4 is 28. You're going to need like, yeah, I forget what number I just said. You need like 28 wood or something. So you don't want to overmake your lumber down here, because making too much lumber is going to start eating up your wood, which will then slow down your windmills. So again, you're playing this little balancing game of keeping everything kind of in balance. The way you can make sure you have enough wood is to build more lumberjacks or logger houses and to build more tree farms. So again, I could add more trees over here, but they're going to be red and they're going to need lakes. But I might as well go ahead and start that process. I'll do that off video. Okay. I know I have a wood shortage because this windmill here is not getting finished. It still is waiting on 1 wood. So every time my lumberjacks are getting a wood, I guess I have 9 wood here. That's strange. Thinking all my wood was going to the windmills that needed it to make salt. So this guy should be getting a wood. He hasn't. It's been like, I think 5 minutes. He hasn't got a wood yet. So this is one of those times where I might just have to back out and refresh the game. Before I do that, let's look at the counters over here. Butter is 18.5 per hour. Salt, there's no way that's right. So I'm going to back out and start the game again. Now, of course, I have to start the dough version because right now they're both live and I have the special access, not special. Some of us got access to the Godot. So it remembers your towns for you. In the old days, we had like 3 or 4 practice servers or maybe 5. So I don't know if they're going to have that in the new version or not, where here you could pick which of the 5 servers you wanted. And then the events would be called the competition server. So I don't know if they're keeping that concept or if that's going away. So when you come back here, your town should be there just like you left it. And supposedly your town will now run even when you don't have your browser open. In the old days, you have to keep your browser open like 24 hours a day to keep your town running if you're in a competition. And supposedly, I haven't tested it yet, your town will continue to run even when you close your browser. So maybe I'll do a special video on that. So now, let's see if this guy, there, he's already getting a wood now. I see the guy just carried him some wood, and now he's being built. So there was some issue there, some little bug going on, I believe. In a minute, we'll look at the counters again, and then we're almost done. We'll wrap up. Okay, over here you see finally we have 2 salts in inventory. So all that work was basically to make that happen, where I would have more than enough salt to start keeping the bakery busy. Okay, and so if the bakery is waiting on salt now, I'd be surprised. Yeah, so see the bakery has salt, it wouldn't get the sugar, and now we're churning butter. And we still have 2 salts, so that as soon as that butter's done, we have 2 salts ready to come in. We may still not have enough salt, but at least now we have salt buffered up in our storehouses, uh, so that hopefully it will continue to do that. But we'll see. Just remember, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 windmills churning to make salt. We might need an 8th or a 9th one. We'll just have to kind of see. So see now it cleared it out. She just made a butter, and now she's going to go get 2 more salt. Let's see. Now our inventory is going to go down. She only got 1 so far. She's headed to this little storehouse here. I bet there's a salt there. Yep, she's going to go for that salt. See the 0, the salt went away. She's going to carry that salt down there. Now she's got to go find a sugar. Now we check our inventory. Our salt is down to 0 again now. It's going to take her a while to get the sugar, and it's going to take her, I think, 30 seconds or a minute to make the butter. And what we're hoping is that our salt has been replenished by the time she does that. May not happen, but that's the goal. Okay, so you can see she is baking the butter right now. The smoke is coming out. There she just made a butter. We do have 1 salt in the storehouse. Now she just consumed that. We have 8 sugar. She's probably going to go after the sugar or what's the other item? She's already got the milks. She's fast. I think she's getting the sugar up from here. Oh, there's salt there too. There's 2 salts. She got a sugar, but now see we have 2 salts again ready for her. So I think we're now where we're constantly making butter, which is a good thing. Okay. So now if we look at the performance monitor, 24 butter an hour. I'd say that's a lot better than we were. Remember, we were at 8.5 maybe 30 minutes ago, right? So we have definitely speeded up our butter quite a bit. We've made 5 butters since I've refreshed the game and closed it and reopened it. And I think we're on track now. We still have 3 flour, which we're not using for anything. The other thing you want to keep an eye on is always check your gas. Make sure you got enough gas here. You're not overselling little things on auto sell. check your lumber and your wood. If all of a sudden you see like a whole bunch of lumber, a whole bunch of wood in here and little lumber, you need to turn on the lumber mill for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and then turn it off. You're just going to have to kind of vacillate that, turning it back and on every so often. In some games, you leave the the lumber mill on all the time. In some games, you need like 3 or 4 lumber mills. It just depends what your game is trying to tune. And so there she just made another butter. We are cooking, man. We are cooking. I'm excited. I didn't think it was going to take an hour and 36 minutes to do this. I'm surprised. But anyway, that's the work it takes to be able to do this game. And guess what? Now that we have our butter working, we want to go on. The game for the practice game and the first game of the season for May Mayhem is to make shrimp pizza. And we'll talk about that in a future video. But I'm pretty sure we have to make dough next. And dough is made in a cakery. No, hang on. It's made in a bakery too. If we do here craft, you see we can make dough. But we don't want to switch back and forth. We don't want to make like salt for 10 minutes and then make dough for 10 minutes. What you really want is 2 bakeries, one constantly making butter and one constantly making dough. And then when we get that done, we can start. Well, we can't make pizza yet because we'll also need, I think you need cheese and you need shrimp. It's going to be shrimp pizza. I don't know why they picked that. Not kosher, but anyway, they're going to sell shrimp pizza. And so we're going to have a cakery. I think it's an Italian restaurant to make the pizza. We'll have to have a shrimp farm. And to do the shrimp farm, we'll have to have a seafood warehouse. And oh my gosh, it just kind of keeps going on and on, doesn't it? So let me point you again. Dubstep Rod has a video on how to make something called cold. So it's very tedious. You need about a little over $3 million to do it. And if you're playing with the free 10 million they gave us, okay, that's no big deal. But if they start us out with 25 or 50,000 like they normally do, you're going to have to sell like butter. Okay, remember we just learned that butter sells for 200,000, right? So you would have to sell 5 butter to make $1 million. You'd have to sell, 5 sets of butter, which is 50 butter. Then you have to do that a little over 3 times to have the 3 million you need to make ice. And ice is needed to make the seafood warehouse, and the seafood warehouse is needed to store your shrimp. The shrimp farm is easy, but if you don't have a place to store it, your workers will just throw it away on the road. So we've learned so far we have different types of storage. We have the silo storage for crops. We have this storage facility, what do they call it? Storehouse for flour, sugar, wool, salt, and milk, things like that. And then you have, remember, your warehouse over here is for things like water drums and for energy. And later you'll learn that uniforms can be stored there. I think cotton yarn and wool yarn can be stored there. And again, it just kind of goes on and on what this game is capable of, right? But we're learning one step at a time. So today you've learned how to make butter, and next we'll look at dough, and then we'll get into the shrimp and the pizzas in probably next 2 or 3 videos. Hope you enjoyed this. I didn't mean it to be so long. I'm sure you're watching on fast speed if you can. And that's it for now. We'll see you on the next one, hopefully, and keep coming back for more free training videos for very beginners on Townstar. We'll see you then.